Hi, hello. It is a little past 9:30 Texas time. It's Pod Maverick after dark. Mavericks just lost to the San Antonio Spurs 126-116. We've got Josh Bowe and Kirk Henderson live, Kirk from San Antonio, uh, on his phone doing his best. And we're here because we have to be. And we're going to talk about another Mavericks basketball game that feels destined to, as soon as it ends, just goes right into the mental void where I probably won't even remember it the next day. Kirk, how are you holding up in San Antonio?
Okay. About 2 months ago, my son asked my son asked if we could go to see the Alamo, and he also mentioned that he wanted to see Wemby. Now, because he's 8 years old, I don't really think he made the connection that those two things were in the same city. So this seemed like a fair thing to ask. My wife, we got tickets. And we decided to come down here, and then after Wemby got hurt, and then after Luca was traded, we still decided to come down here. Um, I got not somehow this was a choice. Parker selected his mother to take him to the game tonight over me, and I think they had a pretty good time because the seats were pretty good. And I know from text messages from her the sign he made for Kessler Edwards. Kessler Edwards came over and signed it, which is it's a nice little core memory for a youth. But as far as like the basketball goes, this is how I expected the other night to go. The Spurs, the Monday night game that they played was an abomination
It really
to
was.
to the basketball gods. Now, Josh and I have said this before, and it's worth saying again. The team that the Mavericks keep rolling out there are playing so hard, and it's kind of hard not to root for them. Yeah, there's a lot of fans that are kind of firmly on the Mavericks need a tank, and it's like, first of all, players don't tank, and second of all, the Mavericks are like six and a half healthy guys in a given night. So the fact that they went down there after playing on Sunday and then kind of they really kicked the crap out of the Spurs. They just can't really defend. Um, so that's just sort of where we ended up.
Yeah.
It was fun to see the Mavericks do a little something. I'm really we're keeping like an obnoxiously close eye on these two-way contracts. And the fact that we actually have to care is really kind of frightening because they need the bodies. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Kessel Edwards has four more games after this one. I can't remember how many Brandon Williams has off the top of my head. I know we're writing about that on the site.
He's got to have more because I
I
feel
think
like we
he
went through a
does. Yeah.
really long stretch where he was with the team, but he never actually played. Because I think you
Right.
actually have to play.
Oh, you
It's
have to
not
play.
like
I
you're
thought it was if
suited
you were
up.
activate. I thought if you suited up, that counted. I don't know,
That's a
but I
good
don't know.
question.
I
No,
don't know.
Michael wrote about it and I edited the piece and I can't remember. Good
I
job,
know.
Brain.
I know. It's got to be. He's got to have more because Kessler, I feel like, has been playing every game for like the
hmm
last month, and I know
They
we're
they've been putting him in at spot minutes even before everything got goofy.
yeah, even when before the Luca trade. Yeah, it's yeah, that Monday game. I know I wasn't here to talk about it, but I checked in on the score a little bit. I was out sick for that one. You're right, that was an abomination. That was insane. I don't know because the San Antonio is pretty much still playing their guys. It is kind of funny though that both teams are kind of similar in the fact that they both don't really have any big men.
hmm
I mean, the Spurs are starting 10-day contract Bismack Biombo, and otherwise they're not really playing a center. And it turns out if you don't have a center, it's really hard to play defense because both of these teams have been scoring at will in these two games. Like the Mavericks went 55.6 from the floor, 40.6% from three, and they lost by 10,
Do you want to hear a stat?
which is hilarious. Yeah, go ahead.
Just because I'll forget this. Harrison Barnes in these two games shot 18 of 21 from the floor.
He only missed three shots.
Three shots in two games.
And I don't think he took a lot of threes. It was all around the basket. Like the points in the paint in these last couple of games have been outrageous. Spurs had 66 tonight. Mavs had 52. Turns out if you don't have Anthony Davis or Victor Wembanyama or Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively, it's very easy to score at the rim. The Spurs were 25 of 36 in the restricted area. The Mavericks were 22 of 31. Just really like this was pinnacle like March, like in the good way. Like
Hmm.
March NBA basketball, if it's between two teams that are their seasons are toast, it's either games like tonight where neither team can stop anyone, and it's high scoring, or it's like 94 to 90 where no one can score. So I'd rather, at least this was enjoyable to watch
Yep.
aesthetically, unless you like defense. And sorry about you.
Which, if I think in terms of an entertainment product, the Mavericks had it tonight. Now, if you're looking at the box score, you can really tell pretty easily how the Mavericks won this game. First of all, their starters got absolutely wrecked. The fact that they only lost the game by 10 is actually pretty interesting when every single one of their starters has at least a negative 11 plus minus. That's
Yes.
kind of hard to do. The second thing that really jumps off the page is that no Maverick had more than 5 rebounds. And most Mavericks had no. Oh no, I got that. Yeah, Dwight Powell had 5 rebounds, only one. Every single other Maverick had 4 or less rebounds, and I think the Mavericks got out rebounded by close to 20 boards. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, the Spurs had 13 offensive rebounds. The Mavs had three.
Mm.
This and what's funny is the Spurs, the who got all their rebounds. It wasn't even their bigs. De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell combined for 19 rebounds, which I don't know. Is that
Well,
more
he
than the
must have
entire starting lineup of the Mavericks had? I think
he,
almost.
he he must have heard me calling him a fraud from every platform that I had because he
That Monday
he
game was like that was bad.
6 of 13 from the floor in 39 minutes. He was just out there getting some cardio. And tonight he looked like a superstar.
He looked like how
He
he normally looks against Dallas,
yeah, yeah.
because this is kind
And
of what he always does.
and what's funny about all this is like the Suns keep losing.
I know.
So it's like ultimately kind of fruitless. Like I really do. I kind of think the Mavericks are gonna make the play-in
I
game.
think they are. Even if none of the bigs come back in time, I think they're still going to make the plan.
Mhm, mhm,
And I don't even think it's going to be like, I don't think they're going to go on a winning streak. The
mm-mm.
Suns can't. The Suns are what they are 30 and 36. The Mavericks are 33 and 34. So the Suns are 2 games behind in the loss column. I just don't see the Suns winning enough games to jump out ahead of them, even if
Nope. And
Dallas loses 5 of every 6 games they played at the end of the season.
they have to gain ground. They just can't do it. Like they blew a game against the Grizzlies the other night that was pretty painful. So
Yeah, and they
it
just
was
lost to
another.
Houston.
This was a Najee Marshall shooting regression game, which was bound to happen.
Yep.
He's kind of the Mavericks' best all around player at the moment, which is bleak. Jason Kidd said that PJ Washington is going to try to give it a go on Friday, so that'll help.
Mhm.
Um, but again, they're playing the Rockets, so I'm not sure how much help that'll actually be. Um, Poor Max Christie is really just stuck in the mud. This is, I
I
told
think they
somebody that
blew past you. You mentioned it one time. He's blown past his minutes like
he just
quickly.
he just doesn't look like he has any gas, and they don't really have any choices. I mean, like I there's no fun for us in being like relentlessly negative unless we think that there's something else the Mavericks could be doing.
Yeah,
And in this instance, there's nothing left for them to do.
they literally are playing everyone that they can play. Like
Yeah.
there's no one else on
Mhm.
the roster right now that they can turn to. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
miracle that these games even look like they should be losing with these injuries that they've got right now.
That's
I
true.
mean, they should be losing all these games by 25 points. I mean,
Yeah.
they're starting two-way guys. Um, no, they're starting one two-way. They're relying on their two-way guys might be their two of their three best players
At
right
least
now.
consistency
Yeah,
wise lately, they've certainly been the most consistent.
yeah. Like I mean, they should be getting run out of the gym every game, and the fact that they haven't, the fact that they're still within earshot, they're still solidly in the 10th seed. I mean, again, some of that is the Suns can't win, but I mean, I know they've lost what they've lost. they've lost like 5 out of their last 6. I mean, they've lost probably more. No, they've lost a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've lost 8 of their last 10. So I'm praising them like they're winning games, but they're 2-8, or yeah, 2-8 in their last 10 games. No, wait, that's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're
Hmm.
eight. They're 2-10, and no, in their last 12 games.
Yeah.
Like that's, or I don't know what it is. They've lost 8. They've got eight losses and 2 wins in their last 10 games. I can't do math. I'm tired. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So I'm praising them like they're doing it, but they're still losing. But most of these games they're at least somewhat competitive. The Milwaukee game, the Sacramento game, and those were bad. But the Memphis and the Phoenix game and these Spurs
yep.
games have been relatively close. Like, I don't know, maybe they are going to run out of gas eventually. But I mean, they play some pretty ranked teams to close the season. Like, they still play Philadelphia, they still play Brooklyn, they still play Chicago. Orlando's kind of weird. They play Brooklyn twice, Atlanta, Toronto. So they've still got some games against teams that don't really have a ton to play for either. So I mean, they could sneak in a game like they just won Monday. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
that wouldn't surprise me. But
And I think that just is going to be the way it goes. Like the Mavericks are going to enter the play-in under 500, but it's not going
yeah,
to be. It's not going to like. What are they right now? They're one game under 500.
yeah, they're
Though
33 and 34.
my bet would be that they enter the play-in something like 37 and 43, 45, something like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
i- very very mid 2000s Eastern Conference 8 seed vibes about them. So
yeah. And they will play. I mean, it does, whoever they play, I don't expect them to win
so
whoever they play in the play-in, that first game. So
I think we throw this game to the side, and I got we're not going to talk for too much longer just because there's not much more to
yeah, is there
say.
anything else you feel like?
I do want to talk about something. I just sort of want to throw this out into the void because right now we're really getting our hardcore fans listening to us. A lot of people have reached out to let me know they're still listening. Um, I appreciate those notes, by the way, guys. Really, it does matter. Uh, I want to take a pitch that if you like college basketball and you are interested in this draft, I should have done
It's a
this
good draft.
the moment Anthony Davis got hurt. I should have done this, but I'm tired. Got too much going on in my personal life. I'd be interested in any bringing on a couple of people that want to write about the prospects, and then that would like to help us continue writing into the next season with our game coverage. Because Josh and I, we keep getting dinged on this with people who are like, oh, you should let us know what you think about particular prospects. And like, I think I'm going to get there because I'll start
You will.
watching.
You love
I'll
the draft.
start. I love the draft, but at the same time, I'm not that. I was talking to one guy today who told me he's just like, oh, I'm just kind of writing and I'm doing it for fun. I'm like, that's the point. Like, I don't expect anybody to be experts. Most of us at Mavs Moneyball are hobbyists, and analyzing basketball is supposed to be fun, and sometimes it's okay if your takes are wrong. I mean, I every now and again I get really annoyed when somebody's just like blastedly wrong with facts in their face, but it's basketball. Who ultimately cares? But I say this because I am looking forward to kind of dipping into this element of it again. Because I was thinking today, one of the challenges with where the Mavericks will draft, which is likely going to be, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that's just where it's going to be. Um, is I don't know where I would start because in the previous several years, like basically going back to Dennis Smith Jr., so that's 2017. When they picked Dennis Smith, it was like best player available. Then we lucked into Luca the very next year. And from there, it became a question of how do you accentuate Luca? Because we knew that we had the guy. And
Right.
so now we're kind of in a very different spot, which is best player available, best player available. And there are some really interesting dudes in this draft that have that. Like if you're looking for guys that are really talented, this is a good draft for high level talent. I do think my the guys that I pay the most attention to think that there's obviously kind of like one blue chip and Cooper Flag, and then the Harper guy, Ron Harper's son. What the heck? I can't even think of his name at the moment. Um,
Is it Dylan Harper?
Dylan, is that right?
Is
I'm
that
so
right? I don't
tired.
know. I
He's
don't
a
know
but
college.
he's in he's an incredible point guard and very high floor guy is what I'll say. I don't really trust some of his rim numbers, but that's way too much of the weeds for what I mean right now.
Hey,
It's
you want to feel dumb? His name is literally it's Ron Harper Jr.
okay, good. That's what my brain was
Oh
telling me,
wait,
but I'm like,
never mind. No, I'm
no,
wrong. It is Dylan. I was right.
Dylan.
He does
Yeah,
have another son, Ron Harper Jr., but he's already in the NBA.
he's already out. Yeah. And so
Sorry.
I'm like it's so fun to sort of think about, what is best player available for a team that could theoretically truly be starting over this summer? Like truly starting over this summer, what does that mean? And there's just, if you're still kind of mired in the Luca stuff, I don't blame you whatsoever. But Josh and I also have to like, it's not like turn the page really, but we have to talk about other things because we would like to talk about other things. And I've always loved the idea of trying to rebuild a team from scratch. Like it's just it's fun piecing together how guys work. Like, or it's part of why I think Anthony Davis, if he was to stay with the team, like Max Christie becomes a much more interesting prospect to me if Anthony Davis stays with the team. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling at this point because I'm tired, but
No, you're right. The one thing is like I don't want to throw water on it because you're like
sure.
they might have to restart this summer, and I mean I still I'm very convinced in my heart of hearts that Nico is going to get at least through next season
Hmm.
because I feel like if he can convince ownership to trade Luca, he can convince them,
Sure.
hey, injuries, give me a chance. Let's see through this season. We'll get there. I can convince that he can make that pitch as well. And there's a part of me that's like, okay, we're going to pivot to draft and breaking down these prospects because we have to. I mean, we absolutely have to. But that sinking feeling that this pick that they're going to get is not going to be on the team in October,
Right.
uh, whether it's in Phoenix or it's in somewhere else, because Nico has said he literally said he basically only cares about the next 3 to 4 years. I don't think he gives a damn about this draft pick. Like, I mean,
No.
if he can get another Nike True Hooper to complete his 2016 Olympics team, I don't think he's gonna let you know this draft pick get in the way of that. Like, I just don't. Like, we
No,
already
you're
saw
right.
how he negotiated with the Lakers for Luca. Like, he just wants give me what he wants, and then you don't have to really negotiate any further. Like, if Phoenix is like, you can have Kevin Durant, but we want your fifth overall pick. Like, he's gonna say no. Like, after what he's stated he wants his vision for and what his timeline is. So
Yeah.
there's a part of me that's gonna be, we have to do it because we can't keep talking about the team because like Brandon Williams and Kessler Edwards might not be on this rot. Like, it's very fun and we should talk about them some degree, but we can't. We've still got 15 games left. They aren't going to be on the team next year, most likely. They're two-way guys. Like, they're going to be free. The Mavericks cap situation is very weird. Like, they aren't going to stick around and wait around for the Mavericks. Like, if another team offers them a contract this summer, they're probably going to have to jump on it. Those kind of guys can't really afford to sit and wait. And past that, it's like like what's happening right now. There's not a lot you're gonna be like, oh well, this is what they can do. This is what bleeds over into next. Like, no, like they're missing way too many guys. Next season, it's going to be a completely different starting lineup, and they're going to do different things, and almost nothing they're doing right now is going to be relevant to what the team looks like next season. So we have to talk about the draft, and then the other part of me is like, okay, when I have to talk draft, what if they don't keep the pick? And it's like that kind of goes back to the inside baseball stuff, what we're talking about, of what, like, just how much this has been a killer this last month. Is it just kind of feels like there's no way out in terms of what we can talk about, what we can write about. But that's our problem to try to solve. So
Yeah.
just kind of where my brain is.
Well, my hotel air conditioning just kicked on, and it sounds like a very old car trying to start. So
Then we
I
leave.
don't want that to be picked. I don't want that to be picked up on the audio. Why don't we get out of Dodge?
We did
We'll
20
figure
minutes.
out. Yeah, 20 minutes, pretty good. Well, and plus the Friday game is going to be more interesting because Friday has more. Like if PJ comes back, I really like talking about the Rockets because they're an interesting team.
Mhm.
The Spurs just don't have much for me either. So
Yeah, the Spurs are kind of in the same boat since Wimby went down. Otherwise, they would have been gunning for that 10th seed. But
that's right.
yeah, all right.
Well,
Well, Kirk, thank you for reporting live on the scene in San Antonio. I want to say you guys have tremendous luck with going to games. Obviously, no Wimby, no Luca, that sucks. But when you bought the tickets, but like the you guys get like the best out of like the players. Like you got Luca. What was it? Luca came and signed something for you.
Luca's rookie year, I was sitting as Washington D.C. and the Wizards have been bad since time immemorial. And I sat along. I bought really expensive seats for me at the time. Like we had just had kids, we had just had Parker, so we're like paying that daycare, and it's like we're
Yeah,
at that point where it's like we shouldn't do anything fun. We need to save our money. And I think I spent like $500 on these seats, which for where they're located and understanding it's an NBA game, like right along the floor to the tunnel, is not that much, but it is that much for
yeah.
anybody that has a brain. And Luca was out, and he was so gracious with like how much people. So he just signed stuff like 15 minutes, and he signed my kid's jersey while my kid was in the jersey,
Hmm.
so that was pretty fun. And yeah, just somebody sent me the other day that I didn't even know was at the game. Sent me a picture that they had. They're like, "Oh, that's you and Parker in the background." That was really neat. So,
Yeah. And then
yeah, you're
tonight,
right.
yeah,
We do
get
have some good
just
luck.
yeah, that's cool. And Mary went to Pepperdine too, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's
and
cool. That's super cool.
they just had a. I don't know if again. I know you don't follow college basketball, but a lot of college tournaments have really rigged their basketball tournaments to favor the top seeds,
Yes.
and basically every single team in the West Coast Conference, which is where Pepperdine was in this year, every single team except for the bottom two teams had a bye, and so Pepperdine somehow kept playing and winning, and they played like 4 rounds in a row, and then they lost in the semifinals. But every team that they had beat hadn't had to play yet. So like they were 4-14 in their conference play. They're horrible. And then rattled off 4 straight wins to get to the semifinals.
So
It's very
so they won as many games in the tournament as they
as they
did in the
did.
conference regular
It
season.
was wild, and
That's
it was real.
crazy.
Because these tournaments don't like, and the NCAA approves of this because they want
More
the
games.
actual NCAA tournament to be good. Like they don't
Yeah.
want a 1 versus a 16 seed to be a slaughter every time. So
Yeah. No, that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that's great. Well,
it's
that's
been
one
fun.
piece. Yeah, one piece of good news. So enjoy Parker when he gets back. Unless
Oh yeah,
are they already back or are they still not?
no, that's why I'm surprised they haven't walked in yet.
Yeah. Well, then let's get out of Dodge before they come home. I'll get everything up on the site. We're still writing. Go to
Mhm.
mazmoneybell.com. There's still stuff on there. I swear to God, there's still
There
stuff on
is.
there. So we'll do our best. Thanks for everyone that's still joining. I almost don't even believe. I know our live count is sometimes inflated, and even this number, even if it's inflated, I'm
No, it's real bad
still
right now. The listeners are
happy.
coming through, but the viewers not so much.
Yeah. Well,
So
if we have more than one, then that
that's right.
surprises me. So I'll take it. All right, guys, be good. We'll talk to you guys after the Friday game. Again, this is Pod Maverick After Dark. Check out Maz Moneyball for more. This is Josh and Kirk. We'll talk to you later.